Growvia.
Growvia Life. Hi everyone. First of all, Happy New Year. I wish you and your families a prosperous 2026. I hope you started this year with great energy and with great excitement. My prayer for you is to find a place you can call home. What I'm saying this is because many people don't believe that besides having their own homes where they come from, but there is a greater home. And that home is where the Father is God Himself. So how I pray that this year may help you to connect to the main home, which is the home of a family of believers. So today I'm super happy to be with someone special. Her name is Happy, but I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. Hi, Happy.
Hi.
I'm glad you are here.
I'm glad to be here as well.
Thank you for joining us on Growvia. It's a great privilege to have you join us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Weora Happy. More to that, I'm a Gen Z who loves God, who loves things to do with conduct, improving our generation. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, she said she's a member of Gen Z. So many people don't understand that. What is Gen Z?
Gen Z is basically a generation from the late 1990s to 2000s. The youth, basically.
So the youth. Yeah. So which means people who were born before then, they are considered old school.
They are Gen X.
Gen X, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So, do you live in Rwanda?
No, I live in Uganda, but I consider Rwanda home as well.
Rwanda is your home?
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I hear you love social media.
Yeah.
Are you on any social media handle?
Yeah.
Which one?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You are a TikToker.
Yeah.
And in Uganda, TikTok is a big thing.
Yeah.
Do people get paid through TikTok in Uganda?
If you're verified, they're paid.
Okay, so you have to be very consistent.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure you post lots of stuff every day.
Yeah.
I think even in Rwanda, some people get money from TikTok, but I doubt if what they get is worth their labor.
Okay.
Yeah, so what do you do in Uganda?
Uganda, I'm just a student at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm a student, and then I have the TikTok page which deals with just Gen Z transformation and all that. That's
Gen Z transformation.
Yeah.
So Gen Z, some people heard of that word Gen Z when youth were actually demonstrating in Kenya.
Yeah.
So some people think Gen Z is a Kenyan thing.
Okay.
But they have no idea that Gen Z is everywhere.
Yeah.
So today I want us to talk about communication.
Okay.
There is a way, communication is a very wide topic, but I just want to focus on communication, how Gen Z, how they speak to the old style or to the old school people.
Yeah.
You have your own language, you have your own slang, you have your own everything, you have even changed the language. So the first question is, why do you, Gen Z people, have your own language?
Okay, I feel like why do we have our own language? It is the same thing as to why Gen X has their own terms. I feel like it is something to do with the generation.
Yeah.
It is something we can't do anything about because every generation is going to have things that govern that particular generation.
Yeah.
So this is a language we are born in. We find ourselves finding people use certain slangs, and I feel like a child becomes more of the kind of environment they are raised in.
Yeah.
So yeah. That is why we have our own language. It's because of the kind of generation and what we found.
But eventually, because of the way you change your language, you twist language, it's like you make the original language disappear.
Not really. It is, I feel like it is, we having our own language. I feel like it goes back to the parents, actually, the old generation. Because you can have your own slangs and all that and use them when you're with your fellow Gen Zs. But then if you have parents who are really strict on making sure you have your own, you know, language not disappearing in you, they will eventually make you still remember that. I'll give a simple example. Growing up in Uganda as a Mnyarwanda, I grew up in an environment where people are using Luganda as the main language of communication besides English. So you find that if my parents were not strict on making me keep on speaking Kinyarwanda or communicate with me in Kinyarwanda, and they also communicate to me in Luganda, because it's the language being used, eventually I would have forgot Kinyarwanda. But the fact that I still remember Kinyarwanda and speak it fluently, it is because my parents had to play a big role. So I feel like it's the same thing as Gen Z and Gen X. If only the old school or the Gen X generation can, you know, keep reminding these Gen Zs, you know, this is how to speak, this is how to carry yourself. I feel like these Gen Zs can't eventually forget, even if they use the slangs.
Yeah, I know. But you see, the reason why I'm asking that, it's because like when you see the Gen Z here in Rwanda, when they're speaking their own Kinyarwanda, it's completely different. And it's like even the older generation, they are trying to find their way through because they can't understand what the Gen Z are communicating. They are talking about. There are those slangs. There are those particular words. They say, for example, in Kinyarwanda, they can say, "Ngona ngonje kugutamo." Kugutamo is something that you can't understand unless you are a Gen Z here. And that's why even the president once said that people have to speak Kinyarwanda. It's like the Gen Z are no longer speaking the actual Kinyarwanda. They have created their own Kinyarwanda, which to them it's fun. But remember this Gen Z today. It is going to be Gen X tomorrow. And tomorrow there will be another Gen Z, which may eventually take that fake language to the future generation. So, but now you talked about your TikTok handle. What do you normally focus on when you're on your TikTok handle?
Well, my TikTok handle, it is called Gen Z Spotlight on TikTok. It mainly deals with the Gen Zs, the youth. So what I focus on is basically our, you know, transforming our generation. So growing up, we've had this jazz of, you know, Gen Z being a ruined generation, spoiled generation and all that. It is mainly, when you look at it, why we're being called spoiled, ruined and all that, it narrows down to how we carry ourselves, the conduct, the dressing, everything, the walking styles, everything. So what I mainly focus on is our conduct. I feel like there is more to Gen Zs than just what the Gen X has about us. So I only focus on transforming ourselves, and we just look together as Gen Zs and look, hey, where are we going wrong? What should we make better?
So as we focus on communication, I also sometimes think that when the youth are praying, even God gets confused about the language they're using during prayer time. Because some of the words they use while in prayer, they're the same words they use outside here on the streets when they're talking to each other. But so to you, what do you see is the biggest challenge the Gen Z people are going through today?
The biggest challenge? And that is a wide question, like biggest challenge, conduct-wise, socially?
Conduct-wise.
Okay, the biggest challenge, I feel like mostly we face peer pressure and all that. So some Gen Zs, you find that maybe they are raised in conserved families. They understand, you know, there's a way I shouldn't carry myself despite of the kind of generation I'm born in. But again, peer pressure, the world you face outside. When they go into schools, you find like there are cliques in school. So you find that to fit in a certain, you know, clique that trends in school, you have to dress in a certain way. There's a certain way you have to walk, to be welcome in a certain clique in school.
Yeah.
So you find that the main problem we face is peer pressure. They feel like I can't use the old style language. They're going to laugh at me. So some Gen Zs end up even developing a language of cursing and all that just because they want to fit in the environment or the generation.
Yeah.
So I feel like the main challenge we have and what is really ruining our generation is peer pressure, trying to copy and fit.
And when we talk about peer pressure, of course, definitely we have Gen Z people coming from different backgrounds. There are those who come from high profile people class, and there are those who come from low level. So how do those two groupings work together, like in a school setup?
Okay, so I feel like that is actually a big challenge if we are to look at schools, because you find that some people are actually bullied for where they come from and all that. But I guess as any other generation, there's always something that unites them despite of the backgrounds and all that. Like the language, the kind of language they use. It doesn't matter if they're from, a rich background or a humble background. You find that there's a certain language, a trend in a country. They all know about it because of the kind of generation. But again, how they relate, it becomes a hard thing in schools because there comes in things like jealousy and all that, like certain people not having certain things. But I feel like it narrows down to how we Gen Zs, resolve issues or, handle these kind of things. Because if these people who come from, a privileged kind of family would, be humble and relate with these others, there'll be no point for these ones to feel out of place. So it narrows down to how these people from, privileged backgrounds carry themselves in schools.
Yeah. So then there's another question that I would like to ask based on what we saw in Nairobi happen. Gen Z and the leadership. Do you feel that Gen Zs are involved in like leadership positions, like talking about Uganda where you are familiar with? Do you find like the Gen Zs being treated the way they should be treated when it comes to leadership positions?
To leadership, speaking from what I know best, Uganda, I feel like we are being involved in Uganda because there are things like WONSA, that is the Uganda National Students Association, whereby you can be a student, you're in a high school, but again, you're being a leader, national level, district level. We have WONSA presidents and they are being paid. They have officers. I feel like, they are doing their best to involve the youth.
Okay. So coming from your family background and you find yourself in a school and you find other Gen Zs in that same school, besides peer pressure and besides other, of course, challenges you'd think of, what about the way they relate with their teachers, the way they relate with the school authorities? Do you find some disconnection, especially those Gen Zs coming from well-to-do family, mishandling or mistreating their lecturer, their teachers or school administrators?
There's a high level of disconnection between the two generations, because you find that most of the teachers, of course, are from this other generation, the Gen X. So the biggest challenge mostly is communication, and thank God it's the topic we are dealing with today. So communication, I've seen that as a challenge in schools most times, because you find that the Gen Z doesn't care how old is the teacher. I'm going to communicate to that teacher the way I grew up communicating. So a teacher is trying to ask something and the Gen Z answers in some way, some words I can really mention, it's cursing words. So if you answer in that way, sometimes the Gen Z, because of how they are being raised or the kind of generation they have grown in, they feel like it is okay, I'm not abusing the teacher. But again, because we are from two different generations that can never connect, the teacher is going to find that very disrespectful. So it becomes hard for them to connect, because what these ones find sometimes is an offense to the other generation. So
I have noticed such things happen, like even here in Rwanda, when you take a child to school and you have a child, of course you are driving. The child comes from a family that can afford to buy a car, but then the teachers themselves are taking motorbikes. You see, there's that disconnection. And so when it comes to the classroom setup, you find that there is a huge disparity between the child and the teacher. And as a result, you find lots of complaints from teachers because they feel they are being mistreated by students.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there is a school, I won't mention the name, where the child insulted a teacher. And because this child was coming from another nationality, not Rwandan here, the teacher ended up losing his job because he had an argument with the child from a well-to-do family and moreover from another country.
Yeah.
So, which comes again to that question of communication. How children today or how Gen Z today communicate with adults.
Yeah.
Even in homes, I'm sure most parents find it a difficulty to listen to their children when the children have their own things in mind. For example, even when children are supposed to pray together in a family, and let's say a parent starts with a worship song which, of course, has been in existence for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And the child, who is your age bracket, and doesn't even want to listen to the lyrics of the song, not even the sound of the instruments.
Yeah.
They want their own style.
Yeah.
I think even right there, in the presence of their parents, there's that disconnection.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you think this is a generation decay?
Not really. Okay, slightly, but not really. I feel like every generation, like I started saying, has things that govern that particular generation, and we've got to embrace change. But again, the question becomes, what change are we embracing? So I feel like Gen Z's having their likes is not the problem. Gen Z's having certain things, certain language they use couldn't have been the problem. But again, we need to just know as the Gen Z's, where do we use that language and how do we, as much as we have our own likes, we have to also embrace the old generation, because hey, these are the people that gave birth to us. This is the generation that gave birth to the generation we are living in. So change couldn't have been the problem, and then having a different taste of music, different likes wouldn't have been the problem. But narrowing down to the example you've given of, maybe a parent bringing in an old school song, of course, as a Gen Z, somehow you're going to find it boring, which is okay. That is the kind of generation you've been born in. But again, the problem becomes the reaction. Now, that is not about the generation. That is something we always mix up as Gen Zs. It narrows down to discipline. Like, even if I'm a Gen Z, I have certain things that I like, but again, I still know there's something called respect. There's a certain way I shouldn't react to an elder. So that is not to blame on the generation, but the kind of discipline we ourselves have.
Yeah. Thank you, Happy. It's been a pleasure having you. I'm sure this is just the beginning. In our next episode, we'll talk about other related issues to do with the Gen Zs and how the Gen Zs and the older generation, how did you call it?
Gen X.
Gen X, how they can work together to form one community that is united. So stay tuned to our next episode, and it's been a pleasure having you. God bless you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.